Okay, gonna play lots of songs for you tonight, various eras and such. So, let's see. If you know anything about our music, you know this song. This is what sort of took us out of Philadelphia and took us wherever we wound up. It's one of those songs, man, no matter how many times you play it, it just feels like the first time. It really does. I'm talking about... Everybody's high on consolation.
We had no master plan. We didn't care about selling 1 million records. We didn't want to be like anybody. We've always felt like strangers at the party.
It wasn't about fame or fortune, it was just about expressing yourself. We had no major expectations or even ideas about longevity. It just was two guys sharing the stage, singing songs.
You know it's great to see who I will be. And she's gone. I paid the devil to replace her. She's gone. What went wrong? Up in the morning.
Daryl and I grew up about 20 miles apart in Pennsylvania, both in small towns. And we had a lot of similar influences. We were listening to a lot of R&B, we listened to the Philadelphia R&B stations, and we gravitated together as friends.
It wasn't until after we got out of school that we finally got a deal with Atlantic Records, and then it became sort of official. And the first change was I think, She's Gone. It's just one of the songs, it just clicked.
Daryl and I wrote it together. We had both experienced kind of a romantic loss at the time, and we just shared that experience, and we tried to make it as universal as possible. We were making a record called Abandoned Luncheonette under the tutelage of Arif Mardin.
I learned so much from him, like how to be fluent in all these different musical languages. I consider him to be a mentor, sort of a father figure.
He taught us that you don't need to do more than you have to do. If a song isn't working, it isn't working for a reason, and it's probably inherent in the composition of the song. You couldn't have found a better producer to take our music to another level, and that's what he did.
She's gone.
It wasn't a giant commercial success, but it was a cultural success. It was played a lot on R&B radio, but it wasn't a single. And it didn't become a single till after Sara Smile.
We were on tour, and we were actually doing our first tour in Europe. And then we got a message from our manager that a small R&B station in Ohio decided to spin Sara Smile. The guy just liked the song. And people start calling the station going, what's that? Who are these guys? Where did this come from? So he got a hold of someone at RCA Records, which was our label at the time, and said, we got to release this as a single. So in our minds, the album was over. And we were already writing new songs for a new record, moving forward. And then, of course, it did become a huge hit. Daryl had written that song, and it was really a postcard to his girlfriend.
Can you tell us about Sarah Allen?
She's been writing with us for years. She writes a lot of the lyrics with us, and her sister also writes with us. She writes music. Yeah, she's a songwriter. So we're kind of a foursome these days.
So she's totally a writer, or does she get out and do other things in this business? Like
No, she stays. She really doesn't want to involve herself in it any more than just in the creative side of it.
Hall and Oates, Sydney Entertainment Centre tonight. Thank you very much for joining us on
Okay.
I actually met Sarah through John in Philadelphia way back in the very beginning, and she was my partner, my girlfriend, and we lived together for 28 years. And it was a special time, sort of halcyon days. It was us against the world, really. It was a close relationship.
And me forever.
When I sing Sara Smile, I'm still sharing the joy. It's never gone away. That's a song about exactly what it's saying. You and me forever. It has that kind of emotional impact, not only to the audience, but I think it does to us. between 1980 and 1985, we were just like there.
Everything was big and loud and over the top.
So much was going on around us. We were being very manipulated by powers, record companies, managers, all kinds of people. We didn't really have a say in our own lives. Did we have fun? Yeah, we had fun. But it was sort of unreal.
Daryl Hall and John Oates have got a hit on their hands. They're into the British chart with this one, Maneater.
When John came to me with the chorus of that song, he wrote it sort of as a reggae song.
Well, I started going to Jamaica just on holidays in the early 70s. Got to be friends with a guy named Joe Higgs, who's a really early reggae artist. So I had been to Jamaica again in the 80s, and I came back, and I guess I just had that groove in my mind. I was kind of playing it over and over, and I didn't have anywhere to go with it. It was just the chorus and the hook.
I said, no, let's change this and make it more like a Motown kind of groove.
Yeah, the boom, 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 ba-da-da-dum. He came up with that.
I just knew that there was a magic track there. It was a magic track, and it just sounded right. And I took it home to Sarah Allen. I played her the song, and she said, that's a hit. And I went, and she never says that. I mean, she was very laconic. And she goes, that's a hit song. And I said, well, yeah. And then the chorus went, well, here she comes, watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes. He's a man-eater and a da-da-da. She goes, no, lose that thing on the end. And she just goes, she's a man-eater, that's it. So that was what she said right away. And I went, oh, okay, you're right. And so we chopped off the last little phrase. And then she sat down with John and I, and we did the lyrics together.
She'll only come out at night, lean and hungry tired. Nothing is new, I've seen it here before.
That song was the culmination of the 80s for us, because when you start having hits and you start having #1 records, there is a lot of pressure to make sure you keep doing it. And we didn't really like it very much.
She's a man-eater. Oh, here she comes.
It's a necessary part of one's career, I do believe, if you want to get to a certain place. But I'm glad that that period stopped and then another thing could happen.
I was thrilled when the 80s were over. It was like a chance to breathe, a chance to figure out how I was going to spend the rest of my life making music.
I never really felt that comfortable with my own generation. And that's why I'm really glad that this time of life is happening, because all that sort of faded away. The difficulties and the misunderstandings that come with that went away. People just take me for what I am, and they take my music for what it is, and I'm very, very gratified and happy about it.
Here I am, I'm playing guitar and doing exactly what I've always done since the time I've been 6 years old. And it's never changed, and it's pretty good.
She's a man-eater.